The Dolphins' defense is broken, and this Pro Bowl cornerback could be the fix they desperately need. What if I told you the Miami Dolphins could fix their biggest offensive weakness right now with one bold move? That they could take a unit that's been torched for nearly 30 points per game and turn it into a legitimate contender before the trade deadline? And what if I told you the answer is sitting in Seattle, just waiting for the right offer? Riq Woolen isn't just a cornerback. He's a game changer. And if the Dolphins don't make this move, their Super Bowl window might slam shut before it even really opens. The Dolphins' defense is a dumpster fire. Let's start with the brutal truth. The Miami Dolphins cannot stop anyone. Yes, they just beat the Jets 27-21. But let's not pretend that was some defensive masterpiece. New York's offense is anemic, and Miami still gave up 21 points. That's the fourth straight game they've allowed 20 or more. And with an average of 29.5 points allowed per game, seventh worst in the league. This isn't just a problem. It's a crisis. And it's not like the schedule gets easier from here. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the 49ers. If the Dolphins don't fix this defense now, they're not just risking missing the playoffs. They're risking wasting another year of Tua Tagovailoa's prime. So what's the solution? Riq Woolen. Why Riq Woolen is the perfect fix. Let's talk about Woolen for a second. Age, 26 years old. Prime years, experience, 50 career starts. Proven, production, 11 interceptions, 42 passes defended. Elite, pedigree, Pro Bowl in 2022. Dominant as a rookie. This isn't some unproven project. This is a legit CB, one who's already shown he can shut down opposing receivers. And here's the best part. He's in the last year of his contract. Now, you might be thinking, why would Seattle trade him if he's that good? Fair question. But here's the reality. Woolen doesn't fit Mike Macdonald's defense. Macdonald's scheme is built on physicality, press coverage, and versatility. Woolen? He's a long, athletic corner who thrives in off-man and zone. The exact kind of player who could thrive in Miami's system. And let's not forget, Seattle is a contender. They're not rebuilding. They're winning now. If they can flip Woolen for a premium draft pick, they'll do it, especially if they believe they can replace him internally. Which brings us to the real question. What would it take for Miami to land him? The trade package, what would it cost? This isn't some scrub. Woolen is a former Pro Bowler with elite ball skills. So no, he won't come cheap. But here's the thing. The Dolphins have the assets to make this happen. A fair deal could look something like this. A 2025 second-round pick. Miami has extra mid-round capital. A conditional 2026 pick. Maybe a fourth that turns into a third if Woolen makes a Pro Bowl again. Is that steep? Maybe. But for a cornerback who could transform this defense, it's a no-brainer. And let's be real. If the Dolphins don't make this move, they're basically saying, we're okay with our defense being a liability. We're okay with another year of getting carved up by opposing QBs. We're okay with wasting Tua's prime. And if that's the case, then they don't deserve to be taken seriously as contenders. The Tyreek Hill factor. Why this move is even more urgent, here's the real kicker. Tyreek Hill is hurt. We don't know how long he'll be out, but we do know this. Without him, the Dolphins' offense isn't unstoppable. It's vulnerable. And if Miami's defense doesn't step up, this team could collapse. Think about it. No Hill? Defenses can focus on stopping Waddle and a chain. No pass rush? Opposing QBs will have all day to pick apart Miami's secondary. No elite corner? Good luck trying to slow down Tyreek, Chase, or Lamb in the playoffs. Woolen changes everything. He gives the Dolphins a true CB1. A guy who can lock down half the field and take away an opponent's best receiver. And in a league where offense rules, that's everything. The big picture, Super Bowl or bust. Let's zoom out for a second. The Dolphins are one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. They've got a top 5 quarterback in Tua, the best receiver in the league when healthy in Tyreek, a dynamic offense that can score with anyone, but they've also got a glaring weakness, a defense that can't stop a nosebleed. And in the NFL, you don't win championships with one-dimensional teams. You win with balance. You win with defense. You win with playmakers on both sides of the ball. Riq Woolen is that playmaker. He's the missing piece. The guy who turns a good team into a great one. The guy who takes Miami from playoff contender to Super Bowl favorite. And if the Dolphins don't make this move, they're not just risking another early playoff exit. They're risking everything. The final verdict. Pull the trigger. Chris Grier, look, I get it. Trading for a cornerback isn't sexy. It's not the splashy move that gets headlines. But in the NFL, games are won in the trenches, and the Dolphins' inability to cover anyone is killing them. Riq Woolen isn't just an upgrade. He's a game changer. He's the kind of player who can take a good defense and make it great. And for a team with Super Bowl aspirations, that's everything. So, Chris Grier, if you're listening, make the call, because if you don't, you might spend the next decade wondering, what if we had just pulled the trigger? The question you have to answer, so, Dolphins fans, here's what I want to know. Would you give up a second-round pick for Riq Woolen? Or are you okay with another year of a Swiss cheese defense? And Seahawks fans, would you be okay with trading Woolen if it meant loading up for a deep playoff run? Drop your take in the comments. And if you're ready for this trade to actually happen, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the NFL trade deadline is coming fast. And trust me, you won't miss how this plays out.